Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Bangkok for the BIMSTEC or Bay of Bengal initiative for multi-sectoral technical and economic cooperation. Countries meet. Foreign ministers of BIMSTEC countries have met in the run-up to tomorrow's big talks, and connectivity, transnational crime, disaster management, and especially post the Myanmar quake, which also had an impact on Thailand and Bangkok, that's high on the agenda. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the chief advisor to Bangladesh's government, Nobel laureate Professor Mohammad Yunus, they just met, and these images have just been released from that BIMSTEC summit. So the Prime Minister is flanked by KP Sharma Oli, the Prime Minister of Nepal on one side, and Professor Mohammad Yunus on the other in these pictures. So the Prime Minister is likely to have a meeting with Professor Mohammad Yunus tomorrow. At least that's what reports from Dhaka suggest. Initial reports seem to indicate that while Dhaka was very keen on a one-on-one, a bilateral, but that request was initially not taken well by India. There was some delay in response because of tensions between the two countries. BIMSTEC, as you well know, is a 7-nation regional organization. So Bangladesh, India, Bhutan, Myanmar, Nepal, Sri Lanka and Thailand, they're all a part of this very crucial grouping in this region, and they focus on fostering technical and economic cooperation around the Bay of Bengal. Now let's quickly listen in to what Bangladesh's Foreign Secretary Mohammad Jashimuddin had to say a short while back about the likely meeting between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Professor Mohammad Yunus.
Expecting a meeting between Professor Yunus and Indian Prime Minister Modi. Has there been any request from your side for a meeting?
There has been a request from our side, and we certainly hope that this will take place.
I want to quickly cut across to India Today's Foreign Affairs editor Geeta Mohan joining us for more on the story. Also with us is Professor Brahma Chilani. Geeta, quickly, what do we expect from this meeting? Bangladesh had sought this meeting. What do we expect from it?
Well, there was a lot of talk about whether if there's going to be a meeting or not. Yes, India waited a while. Remember, the remarks made by Professor Yunus did not go down well with New Delhi, and there was a response by Dr. Jaishankar in his statements that he made at BIMSTEC about the Northeast, that it is not just landlocked, it is the hub. It is the hub for and stands right in the middle of connectivity when it comes to South Asia and Southeast Asia. So that's one response by India. But yes, right now, Bangladesh certainly is an important nation for India, and India will engage whoever is in control of Dhaka. And that's the reason why the meeting is taking place. Top on the agenda for India is going to be Indian interests, securing Indian interests in Bangladesh, but also more importantly, the issue of minorities and safety of minorities in Bangladesh. Okay. That also is going to be part of the conversation when Prime Minister Narendra Modi meets with Professor Mohammad Yunus.
Professor Chilani, how would you view the Bangladesh request for a one-on-one with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and what do we expect in terms of an outcome? More than just a handshake when they meet?
Gaurav, Bangladesh is slipping into violent jihadism under Yunus. Yunus has released terrorists and Al-Qaeda sympathizers from prisons. The Islamists in Bangladesh are working to remake society, including overturning the secularism that has largely defined Bangladesh since its independence from Pakistan. Today, those who sponsored and supported the 1971 Bangladesh genocide are calling the shots. In fact, the Yunus regime has in its Council of Advisors or the Council of Ministers Islamists. But by releasing violent Islamists and terrorists from jail, Yunus has set in motion the radicalization of Pakistani society. More importantly, the Yunus regime has also whipped up anti-India sentiment. So a Modi-Yunus bilateral at this stage, before Yunus has made any course correction, would send an unfortunate message.
That's a very pertinent point you make. But if that meeting is held, as Bangladesh seems to be confirming, can India send across that very strong message? This slide into radicalism is a cause for concern for India and must be checked forthwith, or will that be water off a duck's back when it comes to the jihadists in Bangladesh and Professor Yunus, heading the country for now?
Gaurav, as you know, that since last August, since the time when violence was unleashed against minorities, especially the Hindus, the Modi government has done little more than issue occasional statements, and those statements have done little to contain attacks on minorities. So any kind of stern message that Modi might seek to send to Dhaka will actually be seen in Dhaka as India accommodating the Yunus regime, because this bilateral meeting between Yunus and Modi will be seen by Islamists in Bangladesh as well as Yunus and his ilk as India coming around to accepting the Yunus regime.
That's a very, very interesting perspective, and we'll keep an eye on that story very closely.